Hey everybody, welcome to the second Team Relentless call of 2015. I appreciate anybody who's to plug in tonight, whether you're on my team or you're somebody from within the organization who chose to plug in. I want to make an announcement just so everybody knows that all of my calls are made public. Very early on in my career, I had other coaches in the organization who are still top coaches who took me in under their wing, and they really helped me a lot by sharing information and giving me tips and just being my friend. And those are ways that I wanted to pay it forward. And as you're a coach and you're growing your own network and you're helping lots of people, it does become difficult to personally take people on and mentor them. So my way of giving back, because I do know that some coaches don't always know where to get started, or they like to hear tips from other people, and sometimes they don't have upline support to really know where to get going, and maybe aren't self-starters. And so I try to open these up so it's available to the public. So 2015 until summertime, because we're lake people and we go to the lake on Wednesdays. Our team call is going to be on Wednesday night at 8:30. Tonight's a little bit later because we have Erin, who actually graciously said that she would be a guest speaker on the call, but she has her team call, so we had to bump it up to 8:45 Central Standard Time. But be sure to plug in. My calls are always linked to my YouTube channel, so if you missed something, or if you want to share it with somebody on your team or a fellow coach, or if you aren't able to get on the call live, you can always go to my YouTube channel, and the link to join the call is I hope that all of you got to Super Saturday. If you didn't, make sure that you set Super Saturdays, which happens 4 times a year, as a non-negotiable event. If you're wanting to grow your business, if you're wanting to learn more, and if you're wanting to get really delve into the organization and really get everything that's available to coaches and make it yours. So the next one is April 25th. So if you have not already marked your calendar, make sure you do so. And for me, any live event is non-negotiable, whether it is Super Saturday, the live training in my area, summit, the Success Club trip, leadership events, or anything available to us as coaches. And there's also the Franklin seminars that are held across the nation that are really greatly discounted to us as coaches versus if you went to just a Franklin Covey seminar, as just a person. Also, we have the 3 Vital Behaviors workshops that are being held everywhere. Gerald Dwyer's doing one next weekend in San Antonio, and I'm doing one on the 31st in Houston, and I'm also doing one on February 28th in California. These are offered all across the nation, bunches to 5-star and up, to be able to teach you, and we are actually certified through Beachbody. So make sure that you get involved in these, because these are things that are going to be catalysts for your growth of your business, and it's going to be monumental to your success. If you didn't get to Super Saturday for whatever reason, in the Coach Online office under the video library is the presentation from Super Saturday. Please know that trainings and the video presentations that are available at these live events do not actually take place of getting to the events. There's so much more that goes on in the events than just the video slideshow. However, you can get a more clear and concise little package of what was delivered there with as far as breaking news. So make sure if you didn't get to Super Saturday that you watch it, because there are some amazing things. Number one, there was the announcement last week of where the 2016 Success Club trip is going to be. Beachbody has chartered one of the largest cruise ships out there for all of us as coaches to go to Haiti and Jamaica in March of 2016. I know that may sound very far off to a lot of people, but me as a coach, I have the pleasure of going on the one in 2013, 2014, and I'll be going in April to Cancun. And the time flies, and it happens before you know it. So make sure that you get registered. I want to kind of diffuse the situation that I heard. I was in New Orleans on my birthday, so I kind of really just I did shut down my business and took some time for myself, which I'm going to go into before I turn over to Erin, because it has a lot to do with what she's going to be sharing. But I heard a lot of background chatter within the organization about people that were about the Success Club trip because it sold out fast. One thing I want to tell everybody in this organization, because I've been a coach, that will be 3 years, is that early bird gets the worm. These things are important and they go fast. We're a fast-growing company. We have about 230,000 coaches last I checked, and Beachbody is doing the best they can. These trips are not just for elite coaches. As an elite coach, part of the reward is that we get to register first. I was able to register Friday morning, and so was Erin, whereas premier coaches, I think, got to register on Saturday or Sunday, I don't remember, and it was open to the rest of the organization on Monday. These things are not set to be discouraging for anybody, because I hear a lot of people talking about how they think that, you know, elite coaches get precedence. To a degree, we do get the perks. That just means you should work for it even harder, because if I can do it and if Erin can do it, anybody can do it. So, you know, I don't really like to hear, you know, I'm a real person. I don't like to hear chatter about the organization, because they do the best they can. We went on a cruise this last March of 2013 to Cozumel and Grand Cayman Islands. There was only 1,500 cabins available. This one has over like 2,600. So Beachbody is doing the best they can to accommodate it. Remember, this is the Success Club, you know, recognition trip. These are for the key players. These are for the people who are building their business, embracing the 3 vital behaviors. So, you know, getting in and register, I will say there is a wait list, and I've watched these events sell out fast, and yes, it can be frustrating, but the point is, don't wait for anything. I mean, one thing I've learned from my whole journey is to get in right away and don't wait for anything. And, you know, especially if, you know, there is a delay, do know that Beachbody does the best that they can. And unfortunately, as fast as the wait list, you know, builds up for a summit, for, you know, Cancun this year, or the cruise next year, things are going to happen. Things are going to happen within coaches, families, their commitment to coaching. So there will be openings, you know, open up to you, I'm sure, if you're in the beginning of the wait list. But the big thing is, this is for you to grow your business. So make sure that you are on the wait list if you haven't, especially, you know, since we're so close to when the registration was open. Another thing is, we're having the cup. It's a team, what's the word? Team vision, where we put 5 coaches together. Only one can be diamond rank or above, and it is something that we work together as a vision for that month, working together to achieve Success Club, to help at least 3 people per person, and work together as a team. We at Beachbody, it's not a coincidence, we're called Team Beachbody. We work together because we are working together and helping people. If you work together with your coaches, people within your team, or even outside your team, if you're having a hard time finding a team, this really helps you learn how to build relationships and help people and come up with other tactics and set goals together as a group. So if you have not registered for a team, please make sure you do so. If you are on my team, I want to see you teaming up with other people within Team Relentless, and, you know, on a team starting February 1st. January 19th is when you can register. If you have any questions about this, make sure you check the breaking news in the Coach Online office, and it will take you to the website where you can see what the rules are, what the prizes are, and it's just amazing. And if you watch the Super Saturday presentation, you will see that one of the coaches, who's a diamond coach, spoke at, you know, on the presentation about being the Fall Classic, which was the last little competition we did, I think, in October. Her team won. So this is, you know, can be it. I've been on the cup and been in the top 25 before. So these are these are just normal people working together to help people, and you get rewarded for it. And that's one thing I love about Beachbody. Lastly, you know, there's a lot of news there, and so I do hope you did get a Super Saturday, like I said, or you watched the presentation. But another thing is, we're talking about Beachbody in Demand. This is a program where we are going to be streaming different programs available, and right now they have some of the well-known ones like P90X and Insanity. They're going to be available to people so they can take their workouts wherever they go, because I think that, you know, hopefully, I'm not the only person that's heard this, but in my lifetime as a coach, I've heard a lot of people talking about, like, I only have an iPad, or I have a laptop without a, you know, a DVD drive. I wish I could take my workouts wherever I go. And Beachbody has been working on it. It is not been released, but it is open to the elite coaches. Erin and I are in the beta test group, so we're going to be testing it out. We can't really give a lot of information because it has not been released to the public, and it has not been fine-tuned yet. But this is, it's exciting. This is going to grow our business. Again, I've heard a lot of chatter and a lot of questions about this, and, you know, concern. The thing is, Beachbody does what's best for the customers. They listen to what coaches say, and customers, because we really are customers who use the products, and they do what's best for us. And so this will help grow your business, because we're going to have people who become the product of the product. They start drinking Shakeology. They're part of our challenge group, because it doesn't matter if you're doing on-demand streamed workouts or on a DVD, or going to a live event and taking combat classes, or, you know, P90X classes or PYO classes. You're still being a product of the product. So these people out there can get access, and sometimes these people who don't have DVD players, or are traveling all the time, or whatever, this is available to them, and this is what's been heard from Beachbody. So make sure that you embrace this. about being loyal and having integrity in our company and knowing that they do what's best for us and for the customers by listening to them. And I always have that basis there. And when you have that kind of faith in the company you work for, people are going to see it. It's going to be contagious, and they're going to know that there is no animosity towards this company that we're representing, and there's no doubt in our mind that we love them. So with that being said, one thing that I've been doing in the month of January is I'm really kicking these calls off, and I'm hoping that everybody plugs into this, because I hear a lot of people talking about struggling, and I talked about this to some of my coaches in my team at Super Saturday the other day. It said if you're not getting on the national wake up call, if you're not plugging in and have completed the coaching academy, if you're not plugging into the team calls that I make available, if you're not part of a training program, if you're not working out, if you're not drinking Shakeology, if you're not doing your personal development, then you're not going to be successful. This is a job. This is a business. And if you see it as a business, and if you see it as something that's worth investing not only your money, and your energy, and you don't see this as a business, you're never going to create a business, and you're never going to be successful. If you're on this call, if you're watching this call later on, I know that you want to be successful. So this is part of it. Is I understand that you can't maybe always get on every call, and a lot of people can't get on the national wake up call when it is live, Monday morning, but you can always access it at a later time. Instead of blasting, whatever the latest song is on your drive home, plug your phone in through Bluetooth or the USB port or whatever the little cable is that people can plug into their car nowadays, and listen to it. You can play your YouTube videos. You can subscribe to the podcast. So make sure that you're doing these things and you're treating your business like a business, because we're early on in the year, and there's so many people who start off, and I know I did last year, thinking I could never hit elite again, and I did, because I pulled my head out of my ass, and I really started working my business and stopped doubting myself and started really treating it like a business. And it's one thing about Erin is that she started off in the 1st of 2014 on January 1st as an Emerald coach, and she ended as a 5-star elite, and she's 8-star qualifying right now. One thing her and I were talking about when we were getting everything set up is that, I asked her a little bit more about her schedule, because, we've just been talking a little bit here and there. I knew all the, logistics about her, what rank she's at, and how long it took her to hit elite. But the thing I found out that I already knew this. She has 2 children, a teenager and a 5-year-old. I have a 4.5-year-old, and I have a 15-year-old like her, and I know the demands there. She's a wife. She works full-time, and this week is her last week at her full-time job, so she was able to quit her job just like I was. But she has all these roles that I think so many people can associate with, being an employee, being a parent, and then trying to juggle a business. But she treated this like a business, and she put the time and energy in, and she, succeeded at it, and now she gets to live a life where she can pretty much set her schedule, except for the fact that I found out that she's also a student. So I hear a lot of people who say I don't have a lot of time, and she'll get into this a little bit more, but she made the time, and it's worth it. And I'm really proud to have her on this call and see what she has to say. I'm going to spend about 5 minutes to tell my little story, because I think this has a lot to do with what she's going to say. And this is speaking to my team, is that a lot of the coaches who I'm really close with on my team and I trusted know that Ryan and I had a lot of problems. It started last year right on my birthday, after Super Saturday, my 33rd birthday. A lot of stuff was going on, and our relationship was hanging by a thread. And I made the mistake of not balancing out my life enough, and we just stayed busy. With the new year, I was quit my job on November 1st of 2013, so it was all new. The dynamics of our family and our schedule and everything that we were doing totally changed. I had been working really hard from January 1st of 2013, when I told my family, okay, this is what I'm working for, let's do this together, and I included them. I told them what I would be doing. I told them about the sacrifices I'd be making and the slack that Ryan would have to do to pick up to help me reach this. I told the kids what our family would be like, that I would be busy and I would be on calls. Like, if in my family that Wednesday night is my call night. Everybody knows for Erin's team calls are Wednesday night in her family. So we adjusted, and I worked so hard. And then, I let them know what was going to happen, that what I wanted, how it involved them, and it was mostly for them, what everybody would have to do to sacrifice to get there. And then when we got there, we could celebrate. And it was amazing. My kids no longer had to ride the bus. We were able to spend a lot of time together. I worked about 4 days a week during the summer, and I spent my first summer with my children feeling like I was a mom for the first time after 15 years, and I was able to weather all these storms. But in the time, like I said, the dynamics of our family shifted, and there was a lot of things that came up with kids and exes and family members that really fun. And I think a lot of us do that, and we never fix the thing. We just put Band-Aids over it. And our marriage slowly unraveled, and we've been together for about 9 years, married this April for 6 years, and I watched. I could feel us pulling apart, and the balance of our life just got worse. And as we pulled away, the person that you center your whole life around should be your spouse, and it obviously involves your children, but they should be the head of what you do, and they should be the person that you spend time with, your teammate. And we kept slowly pulling apart from each other, and when that is off and your balance of your marriage is off, everything's off, and we both became angry, and we became resentful, and I poured myself into my team, and I've accused him for months about making me feel angry, or told him I was angry, and that I felt alone, and I was selfish, and I didn't really realize it till this weekend, and further and further apart, and I fell out of love with him. I shared it publicly the other day, and I know it's so scary to share this with people because I think so many people think, oh God, you're a coach, you have to be positive. Well, I'm going to say that just because you're a coach, just because you've done personal development, just because I've succeeded, just because I'm happy with myself and confident with my body and what I know I want, doesn't mean that you're immune to these things. I will say Beachbody, personal development, my team, having something positive to focus on, kept us from probably divorcing. I did tell him in November that I wanted a divorce, and it was one of the hardest things I had to do. And I decided, I'm not going to give up. He asked me not to give up, and that is my big thing, is never give up. It's tattooed on my side. That was, Beachbody's, mantra last year. And I don't give up on people. It's not worth it to my friends. And, I know that so many people in our organization see us as a team and as a family, and I didn't want to do that to everybody. So we worked really hard, and we started changing everything about what felt natural for us to do. And I let go of the resentments, and I just decided to spend time with my family. And I realized this weekend where he presented me with a surprise trip to New Orleans for my birthday. He tried to leave my laptop at Superstar with all the coaches that were taking my stuff home, and I was like, no, I gotta take it. I'm like, I have to work. And then I did work for a little bit one day when he was taking a nap, and then I just thought about it, and I'm like, I've never taken a vacation or really shut myself off since I've been a coach. And then I said, okay, and I announced to everybody, I'm off, because I realized what Kobe Mitchell told me last year. He said, you set the business hours, you set the precedents, this is your business. Your business is not going to fail. People are maybe get pissed off at you, but you're important. You have to have a balance. And I always said, no, I'm a multitasker. I can do all these things. And then I realized I'm not. I'm at everybody's beck and call. I stop what I'm doing. I've taken a lot of crap from a lot of people, friends, other people in the outside of the organization who have treated me, just taken advantage of me and treated me badly. And I've watched my husband watch me take this from people, and he got angry because he loved me, and I put those people first. And I, publicly said, I never give up on anybody, and I don't want anybody to feel alone. This is my role in your life. And here I was accusing him of making me feel alone while I'm putting everybody else in front of him. And so I shut everything down. I didn't respond except for, sorry, I'm in New Orleans. Sorry, I'm in New Orleans. Call Coach Relations. Check in the group. And I don't feel bad about it, because I realized that if I was, I was telling Erin earlier, if I was at Starbucks and that was my business and my hours said I close at midnight, you could bang at 2 o'clock in the morning. Nobody's going to give you a cup of coffee. The manager's not going to come down and make you a cup of coffee. So I deserve that, and my family deserves that. My marriage deserves that, because, like I was telling Erin, one of my biggest goals this year was to hit elite, because if anybody knows Ryan, he's and I facilitate it, but he is horrible to stand in lines with. And the one thing about elite is you get to go straight through the line. You get precedence there. That is part of the perk, is you never have to stand in line. You get first service over anybody. And so the big thing with him was like, I wanted to do this for him. And then I really thought, I'm like, had I said, let's go ahead and divorce, and gave up on him when I'm telling the world not to, I don't want to give up on anybody, when he's been my center for, almost a decade, I can't imagine standing in line at all these events in 2015 alone and not have him there when he was the reason I did it. So one thing that I want to talk about this is, because it is emotional, is that I do preach that you have to treat your business like a business, and you do have to invest time on it, and you have to share it with your family. But more than anything, make sure that you're not neglecting them like I did. I'm not perfect. I've made mistakes as a leader. I made mistakes as a parent. I made mistakes as a wife. But make sure that you have a balance, and there's going to be those ups and downs. But make sure that you take time from your family, and make sure that you do, because I've told one of my people on my team said today, Mindy, you've been preaching this to us all the time, is to find a balance, set business hours. Now make sure, Grasshopper, that you do it. And I am. And so I just want to make sure that, you listen to what Erin says about treating a business like a business, so that you do take the rest of this year and you reach your goals, because you can do it. It's going to take some sacrifice on everybody in your family's part. But make sure that your success and your team is not more important than yourself, because I neglected myself. I got really sick at the end of the year from the stress, and my depression took over, and I started drinking a lot, and my marriage started falling apart. So these are things that are really important, that you find balance, and that you, for yourself, for your business, for your spouse, for your children, and if you need help trying to balance it out, please. This year in 2015 is the lead, and then have your family be in the shambles, because it is really hard. So that was just my advice to you. So I'm going to turn it over to Erin to share her story, and I'm going to mute myself. There?
God, that was really emotional, actually. I'm so glad everything is working out. But it is. I mean, they say this business can eat you alive, and it certainly can if you let it. It's definitely a tough balance, but it is possible. I mean, there's many people, look at you now, everything's great, and you totally can make this happen. So I wanted to start off by just thanking you so much. I am truly honored to be on your call. I really couldn't even believe that you had asked me. I mean, I know who you are. You're Mindy Horde. I just think that it was really cool. So thank you so much for having me. I still feel like this is all so new for me. Like Mindy said, I did start last October, so I am about 15 months in, but I don't know when it's going to not feel new. I'll tell you a little bit about my story, just so you know where I'm coming from. I am a mom of two. My daughter is a sophomore in high school, and my son is 5 years old. And I had my daughter when I was a senior in high school, so I really never had any drive at any sort of success in life. I never wanted a job where I was going to be successful. I never really cared about anything like that. I didn't have a lot of confidence, because I was always just afraid of being judged for being a young mom. I was the one that would be so upset if someone didn't like me, and I just never thought that this business would be the right fit for me, but I never really thought about it. Last October, I watched a business opportunity video on this business. So I saw how this business works and what it could be like and what you actually do in helping people, and I was in love with this business from day one. I had been asked to do network marketing before, but it was for products that I could never see myself passionate about. I used to watch Dr. Oz, and I would make lists of all these ingredients. I'm like, I want to take this supplement, and I would have a list a mile long and spend a fortune on different supplements that were going to make me feel energetic and feel better, and it was going to clear up my skin, and everything was going to be fabulous. So when I found Shakeology and knew that it was all in one bag, I knew that this was literally a sign. It was so great. So I came home and I told my husband, I'm going to do this. It's so awesome. And he was like, please don't tell me you signed up for something. I'm like, sorry, honey. Yes, I am now a coach. And he's like, you're joking. And I'm like, only because he's so protective of me, knowing how sensitive I am, knowing that I really don't like when people don't like me. I get nervous. I'm just more shy in that way. So we both were a little bit nervous about it. But when we realized what this business was, it's literally anyone can do this business. And the more we looked into it, the more excited we got, because I knew it was going to be okay. I was going to be helping people. I had always wanted to be a social worker, but I didn't ever go to a day of college in my life, so that fell through. But that was my dream, to be a social worker. So with this, I got to help people, but I could make my own hours. I could choose how much I wanted to make, which to me is the craziest thing. Like, you get to pick your pay. Who wouldn't want a job like that? All the monthly incentives, the trips, the bonuses, it just seemed so cool, and you could make a difference in someone's life, like sincerely make a true difference. So Joe finally got on board, and he was always supportive, but a little bit worried that he didn't want my feelings to get hurt. I went out there from day one, and I asked everybody that I knew. I was so excited about the business. I'm like, I have the best business opportunity. It's going to be so fabulous. We're going to run with this business. It's going to be so great. And everyone said no to me. People were like, good luck with that. I've had people like, when you're a millionaire, let me know. I'll join your team. And I couldn't understand what was going on. I was just asking everybody. Honest to God, must have asked about 200 people. Everyone said no to me, including all of my diamonds. All of those 8 people said no to me at first. So I want you guys to know never to think that that is a dead end, because as long as you stay connected, they will eventually say yes. So my first month was not going as I planned. Fortunately, my fabulous mother and my brother-in-law signed up, and I was an Emerald coach, so I was so excited. But my faith in this business was certainly fading. I had so much invested in it, and I was so excited. So I set a quit date for myself. I said, if I put everything into this and I really try my hardest, and in 6 months I'm not anywhere where I want to be, I'll just continue the Shakeology and I won't do anything about the business. So I started to reevaluate my situation, what I was going to do. Something wasn't working, clearly. So I learned what upline I was in. I reached out to the people who were above me. I mean, you guys all have Mindy. You're on such an awesome team. It's just, you're so fortunate. And for people who aren't, reach out to other people who will help you. I ended up reaching out to Keith Callahan. He was in my upline, and he said, sure, I have a Coach Basics. So I signed up for his Coach Basics, which was the greatest thing for me. November, I did end up signing up 3 people. One of them quit, and I definitely cried, but I didn't give up because I still had 2 people, and I was excited. And it honestly fueled me, because you never know what's going to give you that little extra push. So I wanted to learn everything that I could learn. I took Keith's Coach Basics, and I studied everything. I loved it. And what I learned was that I needed to shift my mindset, because I wasn't focused on helping people. I was focused on my goals and what I wanted people to do. I wanted them to join the business with me because it was going to be so great. But I never really asked them any questions, and I never really listened to where they were in life. So once I started switching that, and I started to become genuinely interested in people, I started learning so much. I learned what it's like to have rescue dogs, or to be an oncology nurse, or what it's like to be a mom of twins, or to run a marathon. And I started just literally talking to people and being interested in what they're saying. And I started asking questions and learning, and I started building these really valuable friendships that I'm still friends with them today. So even people who I thought would probably, oh, they'll never sign, for whatever reason I made up for them, I just continued to be friends with people, and my business started growing. So I think because it made me a better person, because I started having more friendships, I ended up making Success Club 12 that month. So from really, truly struggling to just focusing on being friends with people and bringing it up if it came up and seeing how I could help them, then Success Club 12 ended up happening, and that's when I knew that this could totally happen. So I'm always trying to reconnect with people right now, but I also know that when people say no, that's okay too. There are certainly times in my life where I am going to eat Swedish fish every single day of my life, and I think that's how I'm going to die, eating Swedish fish. Nobody is going to stop me, because people get in ruts like that. But as long as I have somebody there who I know that the day I wake up and I'm like, I'm done feeling like crap, I want to feel better, as long as there's somebody there that I could turn to who could help me, and you want to be that person, then you're going to help them, and eventually they will be ready. So really, never, ever, ever give up on somebody, and continue to just put yourself out there. I'll never be afraid to message somebody. I mean, there's so many times where you're thinking of a compliment in your head. You're scrolling through Facebook and you're like, oh, that picture's so cute, or oh, that's really funny, or whatever it is that you're thinking about that picture on Facebook. People kind of compliment people in their own head, but they don't take the time to like send a private message and just tell them how you feel. If people think you're crazy, that's fine. I've had people come back to me a month later and be like, oh, I just got your message. Sure you did. That's okay, but they just weren't in a good time. So I always reach out to people, and having the power of hello. There was a thing at Summit about the power of hello, and how really some people get so caught up in their life right now, and you never know whose life you can change literally by just sending them a message and saying hello. A lot of moms who have kids, might just be stuck in a rut and just going through the motions, and a simple message from you could literally turn their day around. So be that person to compliment someone, and be that person to just reach out and say hello to people. And find anything interesting that you could connect with them. How can you relate to people? So once I started focusing and learning on how to be consistent, continuously have a list of people that I wanted to help, and have a little more confidence that this is amazing, I started changing. I started becoming confident, and I was so passionate and driven, and it started working. And I was having all these new people in my life, and it was exciting. But of course, I have to mention, of course, the one thing that was attributing to all that was personal development. I do have to throw in some of my favorite personal development books, of course, was The Go-Giver. That book, The Go-Giver, was so unbelievable to me. It meant so much. I remember driving to New Jersey, dropping my daughter off at cheerleading camp, and listening it with my husband, because I'm like, you have to hear this. It's so, so powerful. And the whole thing of it, it's just about, what's the meaning of life? The meaning of life is literally giving. When you give to other people, it makes them feel good, it makes you feel good, and it's just really exciting, and it's just such a great feeling. So that book changed my entire mindset. I love that book. If you're looking for more on the business, How to Rock Your Network Marketing Business, unbelievable book. It's so educational. It's short. You can read it really quick, and there's so much good information. The thing that I read, the book that I read the latest, it's my new favorite book, is The Magic of Thinking Big. So, so powerful. Just changing your mindset and really going for it. Of course, the GoPro and the Compound Effect. And You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero is life-changing for anyone who needs to build up their confidence, which is something I truly needed. It's a great, great, great book. If you listen to it on audio, she's the actual reader. And hearing her voice talk about it, it's just so great. And my last favorite personal development book is How to Win Friends and Influence People. The name of that book sounds so awful. I feel like, oh, that's my favorite book. But when you read this book, it just tells you about how people feel and why people act the way they do, and it really helps you understand humans better. It's crazy, but it's such a great book. So I had to throw those books in there because I just swear by personal development, of course. And it's all about balance. I am constantly listening to personal development. I'll have one earbud in while I'm cooking dinner, or even when I'm getting my nails done. They don't mind. It's normally quiet anyway, so I just put one earbud in so then I can hear them still. If I'm folding laundry, I'm always trying to get personal development in, because it's multitasking, and it's trying to balance your life. I put my headphones by my bed, so when Joe's asleep and I get in, I'll pop them in, listen to 10 minutes before I go to bed. When I wake up, I'll put 10 minutes in just to get some more personal development, because until you do personal development, you don't realize how absolutely life-changing it is. But by multitasking and getting it done at the same time while you're doing other things, while you're cooking or cleaning or folding laundry or whatever it is, you're able to get your personal development in and do your other things. I've had people say to me, like, oh, I have to put my family first. I don't know if I'll be able to make the call. And things like that kind of really insulted me at first when I was newer in the business. They'd say, oh, you're going to be on the call tonight. And they're like, I don't know, my family might this or my family might that. And I've never missed I've missed one call, actually, but I never miss calls in general. I'm always on my team calls, because it is so important to be present with your team and to be there. And if you're struggling, feeling like that makes you a bad mom or a bad wife or a bad sister or whatever it is that you're feeling guilty with, you have to know and believe that your family knows that this is a business. And if you treat it like a business, they're going to treat it like a business as well. My family knows that I work Monday and Wednesday nights. I have my Coach Basics call, my team call, and they know that I'm working. It's the same thing as if a nurse was working her 15-hour shift. Well, she probably doesn't not want to be home at that time, but that's her job. And it's not that she's putting her family last. It's that she's working to support the family. She's trying to create these big, crazy dreams, and she's balancing. Like Mindy said, I am busy. I have 2 kids. My daughter's a teenager, and if any of you have a teenager, you know that that's kind of crazy. My son is 5 years old, and he's in karate. He's active. We're busy. He has play dates. I'm also in school for nutrition, which is so interesting, and learning about how fabulous Shakeology is even more of a bonus. And I also watch my sister's 2 kids. One is 1-year-old and one is 6 months. I watch them 2 days a week, and I work part-time, which I just put my notice in. So that's exciting. But I've been able to do this business for the past 15 months while doing babysitting, going to work, going to school, having my 2 kids. and you make it work if you want it to work. It's up to you on how badly you want this to work, but you do have to treat it like a business. Literally what we do, it seems like it's not really a business because you can say, oh yeah, I'm just going to do my business by talking to other people. It sounds crazy, and it is hard to recognize that this is a real legitimate business because your job is to share Shakeology with people, share workouts, encourage people. And it's not a strict at your desk job, but your job is to share the best product in the entire world. And I'm so positive of that. I've researched so much on it, and it's just so great. You're sharing a superfood shake. I always make sure to tell my team, never ever say it's a protein shake. You do not want people comparing this to a protein shake. This is not a protein shake. This is an unbelievable shake that has no comparison to anything else on the shelf. So you want to just show people value, show people why this is so amazing. There's so many superfoods in this. I mean, you have people in your life who are trying to diet right now, and they're cutting out their calories, and they're feeling like such crap, and they're exhausted, and they're irritable, and they're crabby, and they're miserable, and they think that they're craving so much junk food, but their body is literally just craving nutrients because you're cutting out so many calories that of course you're cutting out nutrients. So when you do that, you feel depleted and you feel gross. But by having Shakeology replace those nutrients, you don't have those cravings and you're not miserable anymore, and you can cut calories because you're still getting all the nutrients in. So that's our job, is to literally share that. And I tell people that's what this shake is. I mean, people are really responsive to that because it makes so much sense. And when you think about it, that's what we do. And that's our job, to share with people and to help people. And it seems kind of crazy, but you have to treat it like a business. It's not simple for anybody. If this was simple, everybody would be like Mindy. Everybody would be super amazing and awesome, and it's great. It hasn't been simple for her either. It hasn't been simple for me. It's not simple for anyone. You do have to put the work in, but it's so, so rewarding. If you're driven and you're passionate and you have belief that you can do this, I promise you that you can do this. When you start to believe something and you're like, all right, I'm going to be an elite coach, your mind starts going to work to say, okay, well, how's that going to happen? It's just automatically how it works. All right, let's go. When you put any doubt in there, your mind doesn't work the same way. When you're driven and you're like, I'm going to be elite next year, your mind's just with you. It's like, ready, let's go. You have to start picturing it, make a dream board, and just be really super specific with what you want. I mean, you can have this be your job, and you can have so much come along with this. Like, think about, if this is your job, are you a good employee? Are you doing what you should be doing? If you had a boss, would your boss tell you, oh, great job, you're doing awesome, you're definitely on your way to meet your goals? Or would they be like, I'm thinking about hiring someone else? Like, look at your business like that. And if there's something that holds you back, figure out what it is. Because there's something that's restrictive to everybody. I mean, personal development can solve so many things, but if there's something that you're not doing for your business that you should be doing, figure out what that is and do it. I mean, it's very simple with the 3 vital behaviors. If you're not inviting enough, make a plan to do that every single day. Focus on doing that more. If you truly believe what we're doing is right, then you can make this happen. Like I said, it's all about belief. Like, I'm sure that every single person on this call knows somebody that Shakeology has changed their life. And if you know one person whose life has been changed by Shakeology, think of how many more people are out there like this. I mean, it's certainly changed my life. It's changed Mindy's life. How many people are out there who don't know what it is? And it's your job to help them. So you want to just focus and change your mindset and truly believe that you have the ability to help people. I know people sometimes get caught up and think like, oh, I don't want to feel like I'm selling them something. But once you literally change your mindset and think, okay, yes, I might get 2 Success Club points. I'm going to make a commission, but I am helping them way more than what 2 Success Club points or any commission means, because you're helping them change their entire life, and that's huge. So you want to get that whole, oh, I don't want to be selling something to somebody out of your head, because it's not what you're doing, and they'll be forever grateful. You want to focus on like as if you were sharing a movie. So don't be so nervous about sharing just when you love a movie or when you love a restaurant or you love a book. You tell them and you're like, it was the best book ever, it was so awesome, or the restaurant had the greatest food and the atmosphere was this, and you're sharing why you loved it. Focus it on it like that, like you have nothing to gain, and I swear it will change your whole thing. So you want to focus everything on your belief, focus why this is possible, and don't create limits for yourself. Like, why does this make sense that your dreams could come true? because it has for Mindy, because mine certainly did this year. So why not you? It absolutely could if you believe it. And if you're not doing anything about it and you're just being nervous, you're feeding your own fear. So you want to decide right now to do that one thing that you're not doing up to your best potential. There's something that might be holding you back. Make a little calendar and write down, okay, today invite 5, invite 5, invite 5, and check it off, because there's something about visually seeing that you've reached that one thing. And just focus on one thing at a time if there's something that isn't quite working out so well. And every day just ask, what can you do to get better? I know you're busy and if you have other things going on, so if you just focus on that one thing, you'll help and be able to fit it into your own life. I mean, this is literally like a lottery ticket. We've been giving this huge, huge opportunity to change your entire life, and it's up to you to scratch those numbers off and to make it work. So you just believe that you can do it. I mean, I was an Emerald coach last January, but I believed that I could be elite. And if you want to know why I believed that, because somebody told me that I couldn't. Not in a mean way. He's such an awesome, awesome guy. He's been one of my greatest mentors. But he said to me, oh, no, don't make elite your goal your first year. Like, that's way too much. Like, that's something you do your second year. And I'm like, why? And it just literally fueled me, because he said it wasn't a good idea to make that my goal. And I know he was just protecting me and didn't want to see me upset. But you can do this. If I can do this, and like I said, remember, I'm a mom of 2, I'm in school, I was working, I was watching my sister's kids. Like, I'm busy too, you're busy too, but if you want this bad enough and you believe it bad enough, you can absolutely find a way to make this work. So just put yourself out there, put your whole heart and soul into this if you want it. Stay positive, of course, and just truly care about what we do. Truly know that you're helping so many people, and put your heart and soul, be so passionate, and it'll just start happening. Focus on helping people, focus on making new friends and developing really genuine relationships. And remember, when somebody says no to you, I don't know if this is true, I might have made this up, so don't quote me. I think I heard it somewhere though. The human brain says no 7 times before it says yes. So just know that if someone says no to you, it's not the end of the world, and they do want the help. It's just not right now, for sure. I always use I feel, I felt, I found, because you can relate to almost everybody. You can tell them that you probably do know how they feel. We've all been in different situations, and that's from the book GoPro, of course. I love that book so much. Not sharing this is like a disservice to people. You're literally hurting people by not sharing this. So be passionate and just share. I remember being so worried about being a salesperson that I was going on and on and on to my friend Katie, and I thought for some reason, my own mind, I said, she would never want to do this. She's very uppity up, and I didn't think of it. So I'm telling her, I just feel better. I'm sleeping better. I have so much more energy, and I love it. And I want to do this as a business, and I think it'll be so great to help so many people. I am feeling better. I have more energy. I'm working out more. And she said to me, sold. And I stopped dead in my tracks. I was like, oh my God, like, do not say, like, I'm not a salesperson. I did not sell you on anything. And for some reason, someone turned the whole salesperson word into a dirty word, but it's not. It's literally sharing. And that's what opened my eyes. I'm like, wait, if I just sold her on that, this is when I first started, then I can do this. I can share with people, and I can help other people. So it's all in what you do to make time for yourself, how much you want this in your life, how much you want this for your family. I know you might be feeling like you're taking time away from your family right now, but in the end, like Mindy said, to be able to drive her kids to school, I just think that's the coolest thing. I am so excited to be home and not be working next week, but I've definitely put my time in this past year. I put a lot of work into this and a lot of effort, but I knew that it will all be worth it in the end. And I know that my kids are going to appreciate it so much, because we have years and years and years of our lives. So you can find that balance. It's all in if you want to, and if you stop making excuses. We're all busy. I'm busy, and I make the excuse for myself too. But you don't have to, and it's all up to you. So I love takeaways. I hope you got something out of this call that will help you grow your business. Of course, my favorite thing is personal development. I can't even say that enough. Putting yourself out there and just believing in yourself. Anyone can do this. I want to end my little thing with a quote. My favorite quote is from the book The Go-Giver, and the quote is, anyone can be successful because anybody can give. So focus on helping people for free, adding value to their lives, and you can be successful just by giving to other people. So thank you so much, Mindy, for asking me to come on. I'm going on and on and on.
You did great. Wow, there was so many takeaways. I did post inside the event invite the list of books so that people can go through it. I like that you not only shared what books you gave, but you shared what it was about, because one thing that I tell all of my coaches and any person who asks me is that I don't really like to tell people, like, because you always say, what's the best book to read? Well, not every author or every topic, speaks to you. And one thing that I've been sharing with my team lately is I was reading books that were comfortable. I actually picked up this book called Relentless, and I was like, the whole time I was like, yes, that's me. I just never give up. And it just made me stay exactly who I was, where it wasn't helping me with the areas that I needed help in, or the things that I needed to understand. And so early on in my coaching career, I read books about forgiving, because I was a very bitter, angry, negative person holding on to lots of resentment towards people. And now I'm like, seriously, it's like to a fault actually now, to how patient I am with people, except for my husband, which, like I said, it's something I'm working on. So I really think it's important that you evaluate what your strengths and weaknesses are, and what you improve, how it will help your business. If, like with you, for your example, you're talking about your confidence. My confidence was really low too, because of the same thing. I didn't go to college. I had a child. I found out on my 18th birthday I was pregnant. I've been on my own since I was 15. So the thing is, if there's people out there who have problems with, failure, then reading, or your confidence, or hearing the word no, make sure that you read books that actually help you get past that. So I do like that you kind of gave us a collection of the books you read and what they were about, so that people don't just go out and buy every book out there and it not be really pertinent to who they are, what they're struggling with. The biggest thing that I think that I got from you was that you were skeptical in the beginning. You became probably even more skeptical in the beginning because you got 200 no's, but you didn't give up. Because you believed in the product, because you saw what was actually available. And this is, I tell everybody is, don't get on these calls and say, wow, that Erin's awesome and Mindy's awesome, but like I can never be that. Look here and say, how can I formulate what I'm doing or my thinking to get to what they said they were doing? And so I really like the tips that you shared, because there's so many people who literally, I think, waste their time on these calls, going to Summit just to tell themselves they're on an hour call, or on a 3-day Summit trip, just to basically convince themselves that they're not worthy. They go away actually, I think, feeling worse. So my thing is, if you're on this call, make sure that you listen to some of the things that Erin said or I said, and really think about how your thinking is and how your actions are and how you handle the situations that she was talking about or I was talking about. The biggest thing is personal development, and the thing is getting out of your own head. If you think you're a salesman and you think that you're, like you said, somebody made the word salesman a dirty word. It's not. My thing is, how many people tune into the Super Bowl, or going to tune into Super Bowl in 2 Sundays to watch the Super Bowl just for the commercial?
Yeah.
You're a person. We are saving lives. I dare say that the cool-ass Budweiser commercials save lives. That actually helps our career, So make sure that it's the way you see things and you embrace these things. And the biggest, last thing, like I said, is make sure that, number one, you have balance, but make sure that you're treating your business as a business. And make sure that you don't assume that and make a decision for somebody of whether they're going to do it or they're not going to do it, because it is a disservice. Nobody likes people making decisions for them. So stop making decisions for people that they will or won't. One of my personally sponsored diamonds, she was actually reluctant to ask one of her best friends to be a coach, because she was getting ready to get married and and she was trying to reach some end of the year goals, and so I was like, pushing her, saying like, you want to get your goal, pull out all the stops. Well, then she comes back. She's like, oh my God, one of my best friends said yes. And it was, like Erin was saying, that she was so excited and was asked, well, why didn't you think so? I mean, if this is one of your best friends. She's been drinking Shakeology. And she thought, well, because she was getting married. Well, come to find out, I've watched this coach, get involved in things, posting in the groups. She's sold a couple challenge packs. That means she's helped several people. So the thing is, don't ever assume that somebody's not going to do something or they are going to do something. And somebody may say no when you think they're going to say yes, but that just means not right now. And so just, keep asking, keep doing what you're doing, and remember that in your moments of being discouraged, you started this for you, not for anybody else. Not too many people just said, I'm going to be a coach. They started this because they wanted to feel better. They wanted to look better. They wanted to, it wasn't always about inspiring somebody, because most people started this for pure selfish reasons. And so just make sure that you sit down with your family. My last point I want to make is that, you can't just have these goals about your own. Like she said, she was going for her goals and not really the people on her team, and that's kind of why she's beating her head against the wall. So once she made it about other people and helping them reach their goals and having those connections, it wasn't just about what rank she wanted to get to or what income level she wanted to get to or what success club, recognition, benefit she wanted to get, but about other people she started to see as flourish. The same thing goes for your family. So me, this year is going to be about focusing on a balance in your family. The thing is, if you know what goals you want, you get on these calls and you just shut the door on Wednesday night to get on Erin's call or my call, or Monday, to do National Wake Up Call, and you don't include your family with it, they're not going to understand, and you're going to be beating your head against it. You may have the strong team who gets you, who you're pouring everything into, but if you don't share it with your family, they won't know why you're working for this. They will feel important, and then you will feel resentful because you are actually doing this for them. I guarantee every coach out there is doing this, business opportunity and doing all these things to further their business for their family and for their future. Well, when your family doesn't come along, you get pissed off and you get resentful. But if you're not telling them, if you're not sharing them, how are they supposed to know? So make sure that you're having open lines of communication with your spouse, with your family, with your friends. I even tell my friends, hey, I'm going to have to switch plans around. They understand, so they're not mad at me. They support me in my business because I'm not dropping them, at the last minute. They know what my schedule is. So make sure that you're communicating with everybody. Don't assume that anybody knows what your goals are, and don't assume anybody wants to work to help you reach goals that they don't even know about. I had a coach the other night tell me that she sat down with her husband, showed her, something that I shared with my leaders only, my income progression over the last 3 years. And once she shared it with him, he was like, oh, so this can happen. And I'm working hard, and I don't mind working hard for our family. But if you were able to generate that income in this time, over the course of time, and it could take a little, slack off of me, then we could spend more time together. It would be less pressure for me. So once they saw it and she shared her goals, she shared what could happen, she explained why getting on these calls, going to these events are important. He said okay, and he was willing at that point to attend every event with her. Doesn't mean he's going to sit through all probably the summit, workshops, but he's more readily, willing to do this. So just make sure communication and balance is what I want you to all understand, and make sure that you don't sit here and say this, you can't have this, because I don't want you to waste a year saying you can't do what Erin and I did, because you can if you treat it like a business and you put the tips that are put out there to use. We're early in the year, and it can be done. So I'm going to wrap it up. Thank you, everybody, for getting on. Thank you, Erin, once again. I appreciate everything. You can access this through the same link later on.